I just got off an Eastern Caribbean cruise on the Norwegian Epic ship, which embarked from Port Canaveral off the coast of Central Florida. And in this video, we are going to take a look at the Solo Studio cabins as well as the Solo Studio lounge on board this sprawling vessel. The Norwegian Epic is one of two Epic-class ships Norwegian originally ordered back in 2006, but due to a dispute between Norwegian Cruise Line and the building shipyard, only one Epic-class ship exists, and that is the Norwegian Epic, which was delivered in summer of 2010. Something innovative that came with this ship design was the introduction of the new Solo Studio cabin concept. It's no secret that most cruise lines charge double occupancy rates for a stateroom, even if it is occupied by one person. Norwegian, noticing a trend in solo travelers, decided to cater directly to the demographic by providing solo cabins at far less than what someone might pay for a standard interior stateroom. By the way, if you find value or enjoy this video today, I would invite you to consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a big thumbs up as you join this cruise-loving community for the first time. We really appreciate it. Heading up to decks 11 and 12, the Solo Studio cabins sit smack in the middle of the ship as sort of a dividing line between the port and starboard side staterooms. One of the nice things about Solo Studio Row, as it came to be called during my cruise, was that it was exclusive access only, where room keys for the studio section of the ship were needed to be used in order to gain entry to the area. Once in the Solo Studio section of the ship, you'll notice immediately a different look and feel to the atmosphere. Suddenly, it's very trendy, and neon lights illuminate the hallways. Of course, the Solo Studio halls are a little tighter than the rest of the stateroom hallways. The feel to the section, I thought, was quite soothing to the eye and just a cool look overall. We've reached my cabin, cabin 12547. With a manually adjustable wheel beneath the cabin number that tells your room steward whether you would like privacy or the room to be serviced. Inside, the cabin, clocking in at a whopping 100 square feet of space, has a closed-off toilet area to do your business or to allow a guest you might have over some extra privacy. In it is a tiny trash can, a toilet bowl, cleaning stick, and the space is ventilated above, thankfully. Directly outside of the toilet space, in many of these studio cabins, is a connecting door to another studio in case you had a traveling companion and needed separate rooms. On the door is a floor-to-almost-ceiling mirror and several wall hooks for towels or hats or whatever you might need them for. To the right of the connecting door mirror is the shower. Now, the shower comes with a detachable shower head and clothesline if you need it. And you'll notice that the outer shell of the shower is a clear surface with only a frosting around the midsection of the tube that surrounds you to the rest of the cabin. Also included in this shower is pump body wash and combo conditioner shampoo. I will tell you that moving around in the shower for me at a height of 5'11" was a little difficult with the protruding soap dish, the grab handle and dispensers, and the water pressure was hit or miss depending on time of day, making this just a really irritating experience. I would often use the large showers up in the spa instead of my own shower in my room. To the right of the shower was mixed-use multi-cubby storage and a towel area alongside the sink. A shower towel, a hand towel, and a mid-sized towel were refreshed daily, and then directly beneath the sink is a bottom shelf where you can place things if you needed the extra space. To the left of the area under the sink is the pull-out trash bin that would be serviced daily as well. Another cubby, or just above that for storage. And then 2 cubbies up, you'll find an outlet for shavers is in the back of the space with a 220 volts outlet directly above that. And then if you move up to the next cubby, you'll find 2 110 volt traditional power outlets for use and a switch beneath that for the shower and sink lighting. The sink area has 2 glasses for use on a sidewall, a small tools holder beneath that, and then some pump hand soap attached at the bottom. You'll notice the sink is wide, but it is not very deep, and there was, on occasion, water that would back up towards the top when full pressure was enabled. Next to the sink is a sliding door that, once moved away, has space for hanging clothes and included hangers, with 2 base shelves, with one that was holding the water that was delivered to me. And heads up, the studio, being as small as it is, does not have a refrigerator. To the right of the first sliding closet was a small ottoman that you could put things in, a slim, movable table with 2 additional drinking glasses on it, just beneath a tiny ledge that held the remote, and this was all right next to the 2 power outlets and switch that controls the small lights above the closet and TV. I think it's worth noting there are no USB charging ports of any kind in the solo cabin. And of course, a flat TV just above it all that only has a handful of channels and a small movie library that you have to pay a la carte for. Going up above the TV, there's also a wide cabinet for additional storage. And then to the right of the TV is one final sliding door closet, complete with more hangers and laundry bags if you wish to pay to have your clothes tended to by the ship's crew. Down beneath the laundry bags sat a small safe that might fit a tablet or something of similar size. And below the safe are, of course, your life jackets. To the right of the closet door, on what little wall space there is between the closet and the bed, was the room service menu rack. And yes, there is a service charge for room service here, with a panel of buttons and switches beneath that allow you to set the neon in the room to your current mood. There's a night mode, a daytime setting, and a let's get it on setting, as I can only assume that's what the heart button meant, along with this strobing red light all around the cabin as though things were really heating up. A phone sat under the controls, and it was a touchscreen device, which was pretty handy when setting your wake-up call. Next to this sits the full-size bed, which has 2 reading lights above the pillows, as well as a place to put reading materials or even your phone if you felt the need. It was a handy little space, especially if you needed something in the middle of the night. You could just reach up and grab it. The bed is wrapped on the head wall and the left side wall by raised cushion material, so you won't be rolling into anything that might dent your forehead, I guess. And the purple circle above the bed is what they refer to as a window to the hallway. So I want to make it clear, no one can see in, and you can only see silhouettes of figures that walk by that are really close. Outside of that, there's no details that you can decipher or anything. Or you can choose to close the window as well. Throughout my cruise, I did end up moving the slim table under the TV around to the base of my bed where I would drop stuff when I would walk in. This 100 square foot solo cabin is cozy to say the least, and not for anyone who might already feel claustrophobic in, say, a larger interior cabin. But for a solo looking to save money and just needing a place to sleep, it did all right and felt more like a college dorm with some neat lighting effects than anything. Something else worth noting is that you have control of your temperature in your solo cabin, whether you want it warmer or cooler. I kept the setting on the coolest it would allow for a continuous airflow, and it was never too cold, but just chilly enough to feel great when sleeping inside this chamber. As for the connecting room, I only heard my neighbor on one night when he was keeping company with a lady. and then on another night when he was keeping company with a different lady. But outside of that, it was only ever an occasional toilet flush, maybe, that I could hear. Outside of that, nothing else. As we head down the hallway, I want to show you what every Solo Studio passenger gets exclusive access to, and that is the 2-story studio lounge, otherwise known as the living room here on board the Epic. Since Solo Studios are on decks 11 and 12, both connect into this space where solo travelers can just take a load off in plush seating areas with a bar, included snacks, and a beverage station with water, lemonade, and a pretty great 24-hour self-service coffee machine alongside a selection of teas. This end of the lounge is connected to a space where you can watch TV, play some included board games, which were just down below the seating areas, read some included books. I saw a book swap going on, or even magazines. You could also catch up on your social media in here. This is also a solo meeting space where a coordinator from Norwegian will host solos who are interested in doing activities together or having meals with one another at sort of a starting point, and it's also the daily spot for the scheduled solo meetup. And you heard me right. A bar is located here with a dedicated bartender every evening for a few hours if you want to grab a drink before heading out to dinner. All in all, the dedicated space is really a nice perk on a ship where lounge space is often gobbled up very quickly. I enjoyed swinging by each morning for my latte or cappuccino and heading on up to the open decks to watch that sunrise over the spectacular Caribbean Sea. With only 128 of these Solo Studio cabins, they do sell out rather quickly. But those who stay in this wing seem to really appreciate the option for the dorm-like living on board that allows for them to come together in the lounge and meet up on the daily at a cheaper price than that of a full-sized interior stateroom. Have you ever cruised in a solo cabin on Norwegian before? Have you cruised on the Norwegian Epic specifically? And if so, what did you like? What didn't you like when it came to these solo cabins? They can be quite polarizing, I know, so I'm always interested in hearing other people's opinions when it comes to these tight quarters. As always, I would be grateful to hear from you. And of course, the fun doesn't end there. To see what my solo cruise in a much larger balcony stateroom on board the Ruby Princess to the Western Caribbean was like, well, be sure to select the video on the right. And we will see you next time on the Solo Cruiser.